Have you ever felt a darkness so oppressive it seems to swallow all light? That was the sensation I experienced as I ventured into a forest thick with blackness. My name is Dennis, a retired FBI special agent, and this is my story. The forest was an enigma, its dense foliage obscuring the moon's feeble light. My flashlight was the only source of illumination, cutting through the darkness like a beacon of hope. I was on the trail of a missing child, a case that had led me to this remote, eerie wilderness. The silence was palpable, hanging heavily in the air, punctuated only by the distant hoot of an owl or the rustle of a nocturnal creature. Each sound was a reminder of my isolation, amplifying the sense of unease that had begun to creep up on me. The trees, gnarled and ancient, towered above me, their twisted branches casting long, grotesque shadows. The forest seemed alive, whispering secrets in a language too ancient for human understanding. The air grew colder, a bone-chilling breeze sending shivers down my spine, a harbinger of the unknown terrors that lay ahead. My instincts were screaming at me to turn around, to leave this ominous place. But the image of the child's parents, their faces etched with despair and hope, was a constant reminder of my mission. Their desperate pleas echoed in my mind, a haunting refrain that drowned out the rational voice within me. Despite the growing dread, I pressed on, my boots crunching over fallen leaves and twigs. The path was treacherous, the terrain unpredictable, but every step took me deeper into the wilderness, closer to whatever fate awaited me. The forest continued to thicken, its oppressive darkness growing more intense. The flashlight's beam wavered, reflecting off the dew-soaked leaves and casting eerie shadows on the forest floor. Time seemed to lose its meaning as the forest consumed me, its chilling embrace, a stark reminder of the unknown dangers lurking in the darkness. The desperate pleas of the child's parents echoed in my mind, drowning out the rational voice within. A concealed entrance, a gaping maw leading into the heart of the mountain, beckoned me to enter. With the weight of the unknown pressing heavily upon me, I stepped into the abyss, the beam of my flashlight dancing uncertainly upon the rocky walls. The cave, a hidden sanctum shrouded in an oppressive darkness, seemed to swallow me whole. Its silence was punctuated by the drip of distant water and the echo of my own footsteps, a haunting symphony that amplified my growing unease. The air was heavy, thick with the scent of damp stone and something older, a primal energy that seemed to seep from the very bones of the mountain. As I ventured deeper, the cave's narrow passages twisted and turned, leading me further into its labyrinthine heart. Each step seemed to take me further from the world I knew, and closer to a realm that existed only in whispered tales and half-forgotten nightmares. My unease grew with every echo, every shadow, a foreboding sensation curling in the pit of my stomach like an unwelcome guest. Suddenly, the confined passageways opened up into a vast chamber. The beam of my flashlight swept across the cavernous expanse, revealing walls etched with symbols that were as foreign as they were ancient. They seemed to hum with an unseen energy, resonating with the pulse of the mountain. As I ventured further into the cavern, my flashlight revealed a sight that sent chills spidering down my spine. Skeletal figures, their bones arranged in an eerie tableau, stared back at me with hollow, empty sockets. The sight was grotesque, yet strangely mesmerizing, a chilling testament to the cave's ominous energy. The deeper I delved, the more intense the energy became, as if the cave itself was alive, watching. The oppressive silence was replaced by a low hum, a resonating vibration that seemed to come from the very depths of the mountain, a chilling serenade that echoed in the hollow spaces of the cave. The cave seemed to swallow me whole, its depths resonating with an ominous energy. My journey into the heart of the mountain had only just begun. The cave opened up into a vast chamber, and the sight that greeted me sent shockwaves through my entire being. This wasn't just a cave anymore, but a cathedral of the macabre. Skeletal figures were scattered about, their bones arranged in a grotesque tableau of death. Each skeleton was an eerie sentinel, standing guard over the forsaken chamber. These weren't mere remnants of the once living, they were adorned with ancient artifacts, remnants of long-forgotten rituals that spoke of an ageless horror. The walls of the chamber were etched with symbols, signs that seemed to pulse with a sinister energy. The air hummed, resonating with a force that felt both ancient and malevolent. I could feel the weight of countless eons pressing down on me, the air thick with the echoes of screams and pleas long silenced. As I moved deeper into the chamber, my flashlight's beam danced across the skeletal figures, casting long, eerie shadows that seemed to twist and writhe. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional drip of water and my own ragged breathing. But then, something changed. A shift in the atmosphere, a sense that I was no longer alone in this subterranean nightmare. The skeletal figures, once lifeless and still, began to stir. An icy dread gripped me as I watched the bones rattle and shift, the ancient lifeless figures awakening from their millennial slumber. The skeletal figures moved with a sinister grace, their bony hands reaching out, clawing at the stale air, their empty eye sockets turned toward me, a silent accusation from the depths of the abyss. A chill ran down my spine as I realized these figures were not just remnants of a forgotten past, but entities that had been waiting for me. The figures advanced, their hollow gazes fixed on me, their skeletal hands reaching out as if to pull me into their macabre dance of death. The reality of my situation hit me like a freight train. I was trapped in a cave with an army of the undead. Slowly they turned their empty eye sockets toward me, their bony hands reaching out as if to claim me. The chamber echoed with the sound of rattling bones, a haunting symphony that marked the beginning of my nightmare. Panic set in, and I turned to flee, but the cave seemed to shift and contort, confusing my sense of direction. The skeletal figures, now animated by an unseen force, advanced with a macabre, rattling dance. Their hollow eye sockets bore into me, their bony fingers seemed to reach for my very soul. The cave, once a silent observer, now played a sinister role in my desperate escape. The labyrinthine passages of the cave twisted and turned, each corner leading me deeper into the heart of the mountain. The stalactites and stalagmites seemed to stretch and warp, creating grotesque shadows that danced in the flickering light of my flashlight. Each echoing footstep amplified my fear, the sound bouncing off the cold, damp walls. The air grew thick with a palpable sense of dread, as if the very atmosphere was alive with anticipation. The whispering wind carried the skeletal figure's haunting chorus, a cacophony of bone against stone that echoed through the winding passages. A sense of claustrophobia gripped me as the walls seemed to close in, the ceiling dipping lower, the floor rising to meet it. My breath came in short, frenzied gasps as I pushed against the oppressive force that seemed to permeate the cave. The skeletal figures were relentless, their pursuit unwavering. They moved with a horrifying grace, their ancient bones clicking and clattering in the silence of the cave. Each moment brought them closer, their skeletal hands stretching out to claim me. In the face of the advancing horror, my survival instincts kicked in. I sprinted with renewed vigor, my heart pounding in sync with my thudding footsteps. The cave's twisting passages seemed to blur as I ran, the flickering light from my flashlight casting long, distorted shadows on the walls. Just when I thought escape was impossible, when the skeletal figures seemed only a breath away, I saw a glimmer of hope. A sliver of moonlight peeked through an opening ahead. With a final burst of adrenaline, I lunged towards the exit, the cold night air hitting me like a wave. Just when I thought escape was impossible, I burst out of the cave into the cold night air. Gasping for breath, I stumbled away from the cursed mountain, vowing never to return. The chilling night air clung to my sweat-soaked clothes as I staggered through the menacing forest, the haunting echoes of the skeletal horde still ringing in my ears. The flash of my beacon was the only light guiding me back to the realm of the living, away from the nightmarish scene that lay deep within the mountain's heart. I couldn't help but think of the missing child, a life cut short by whatever malevolent force lurked within that cave. Their innocent laughter, the sparkle in their eyes, reduced to nothing but a memory in the hearts of their grieving parents. The weight of their loss, their unending pain, was a heavy burden I carried with me, a constant reminder of my failure. The skeletal figures, their hollow eye sockets filled with an eerie darkness, were forever imprinted in my mind. Their bony fingers reached out in my dreams, their rattling bones a haunting lullaby that lulled me into a fitful sleep, night after night. Their presence was a chilling testament to the horrors that lay hidden in the world, waiting in the shadows to prey on the unsuspecting. The mountain, once a symbol of majestic beauty, now held a sinister secret. Its towering peaks cast long shadows that seemed to whisper tales of the horrors that lay within. The locals, once welcoming and warm, now spoke in hushed tones, their eyes filled with a fear that ran deep. The child's laughter, once a joyful melody, was now a mournful dirge that echoed through the silent nights. As the years passed, the mountain and its hidden horrors became a legend, a tale whispered around campfires to scare the young and old alike. The child's memory faded into oblivion, their name nothing more than a whisper in the wind. But for me, the memory of that fateful night remained as vivid as ever, a chilling reminder of the horrors I had witnessed. The encounter with the skeletal horde haunted my dreams, a chilling reminder that some mysteries are better left unsolved in the depths of the unknown. Dive into the abyss of the dark and mysterious, a realm teeming with gruesome goodies designed to make your stomach churn and toes curl. The Amazon affiliate link, waiting in the description, is your ticket to this world. Don't hesitate, explore the unexplored. Who knows, you might just find your new obsession. And so, our tale of the Campfire Horrors comes to an end. Until next time, sleep tight. Before we part ways, dear viewers, remember to stay vigilant. The Campfire Horrors may have been extinguished for now, but the embers of the unknown always remain. As you lay down to sleep tonight, don't forget the lessons from our tale. Safety is but a fleeting moment in a world of unseen. So if you've enjoyed this journey into the abyss, don't forget to ring that bell and smash that like button. Do it before the thing under your bed decides to pay you a visit. Oh, and keep those night lights on. You never know what might be lurking in the dark. Thank you for embarking on this terrifying adventure with us, until our paths cross again in another tale of the unknown. Goodbye and sweet dreams, if you can.